Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about you can't be perfect with your weight loss. And the sooner you accept that and start to build around that, the better results you'll get. Because a lot of dieters really build their weight loss around the concept that you're going to start on day one and you're going to be perfect until you reach your goal weight. And when you approach it that way, any little mistake you make starts to feel catastrophic, right? Because you're going into it expecting that you can and you will be absolutely perfect with your reading. That's never going to happen. Never. Now, you will string together days or weeks or sometimes months of really good eating, but at some point you're going to eat too much, make the wrong food choice, do something that you don't consider to be right. And that's completely, totally natural and normal. If you look at other areas, look at school, for example, there's things you're not going to understand. There's certain subjects and things that you're going to struggle with. And it's the same thing with life. There's going to be days when you're just discouraged or frustrated or depressed or just not feeling it. And you have to account for that in the beginning, before you even experience it, by approaching your weight loss, realizing that you do not need to be perfect to get results. You just need to be better than you've been. And when you approach it that way, you set yourself up to be able to absorb the mistakes that you're going to make. There's no zero mistakes. There's no way that happens long term. And so the quicker that you give that up, the faster you bring yourself into the real world and set yourself up with a true, genuine strategy that you can really use to get the results you want. And if you have no idea kind of like this approach I'm talking about, how this works, click the link in my bio or go to programyourselfthin.com. Get the free hypnosis session I give you. Watch the video I made for you and read the emails I send you. They're all free, and they're going to show you how to approach your weight loss differently so you can finally start getting the results that you deserve. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Hexa languages. Hello there. Hello, JLT Garrett. Hexa languages. What's that mean? Is that like 5 languages? Is that what Hexa means? What's up, Connie? How's it going? Happy Friday to everyone. Everyone loves Friday. I certainly love Friday. First week back. This was a short week too, right? You guys, we had a vacation. Yeah, Monday we had off, right? Monday was a holiday. So I get confused sometimes with these days. But I hope everyone's doing well. And Hexa 6. Yeah, okay. There we go. Penta would be 5, right? 6 languages. That you speak 6 languages? I know people that speak 6 languages. It's so crazy to me. He's like, once you learn it, I was thinking that though, because it's like I have been playing guitar for a long time. And I will say that my journey, I think everything is about mindset, but certainly my guitar journey has been the same things. When I started guitar, I really went into it with the belief that I have, as my mom would say, and said a lot of my life, you don't have a musical bone in your body. And she believed that about herself too. So anyways, it's that's kind of the main thing I had to deal with. I kept playing and playing, but it wasn't until 20 years later, I read a book called Peak. And it talked about how they went to a school with a music school, and they studied the people that were the best out of everything. And it turned out that the best people always, it equated to how much they practiced. And that really changed my mindset on that it's not this God-given talent, you know what I mean? That why people are good or bad musicians. It really always comes down to the fact of how much they practiced. And so that was very freeing for me. So anyways, a little digression there, but that was a big moment for me. And I think about that a lot. What's up, Mama? How's it going? Yep, TGIF. Yeah, right. Who doesn't like Fridays? Especially here. No, New England. I got to tell you, this is one of those, hold on, I got to turn this heater off. It's getting hot in here quick. I have to mute these notifications. Oops. Got my family arguing on a text chat over here. It keeps popping up on the screen. So anyway, 6 languages, if that's what you do. I have met people like that, but that was the point of my music thing I was going to say. Is I was just thinking about that I understand the guitar somewhat, and I've learned so much about music, and I'm starting to play around with the piano, and it's an easier process. You know what I mean? Because once you like learn an instrument and you kind of learn music in general, I think the next instrument's easier to learn because you've learned a lot of subtle things about music. You understand, an instrument. B, and then C, you have a new belief in your head that I can learn things, things that I don't know, I can actually learn them. And so anyway, sometimes with people that speak a lot of languages, I think that belief in yourself, it shows up there. How does someone learn 6 languages? How does someone learn 5 instruments? And a lot of it, I think, is the first one's the hardest. I always say about money, right? The first million's the hardest because you get that belief piece you're working through. And I think a lot of that comes down to weight as well. I was totally just thinking about that if you identify as a person who's overweight and overeater, struggles with all this stuff, then your weight is always going to be a struggle. And so much of your weight comes down to what you believe about yourself and literally how you identify. Like you literally identify as an overweight person. And if you identify as an overweight person, you do things that overweight people do. And so it makes it a lot harder. And so again, a big part of programming yourself then anyways is changing, changing up your self-image. So you think about yourself differently. And I think that's really helpful. What's up, Claudia? Hey, Jim, I'm going to do my first reader rehearsal technique tonight. I'm excited and a bit nervous. All right. Well, don't be nervous. It's completely relaxing and calm. It's just a visualization technique, and so don't be nervous about it. Just relax. You do it right, you do it wrong, doesn't matter. If feel like you're not getting it right, you can come and ask me a question about it. I'll help you through it. But again, it's just learning something, kind of back to what I was just talking about. Even program yourself thin, there's the hypnosis piece and you just sit there and listen to it. But the mastery piece with the program yourself thin technique and the weight mastery blueprints, just stay relaxed and calm, because it's like a subject that you're studying in school. And even if you don't get it at first quickly, if you stick with it, you will absolutely get it. Okay. And so, it's the same thing with the program yourself thin technique. Again, what will happen most likely is the first few times you do it, it'll feel weird. You're like, I don't know, is this working? I don't know if this is right. But if you keep doing it, you'll start to understand it. So don't expect perfection the first time. Don't expect to be this perfect technique the first time. But as it goes on, I need to try something here. Hold on. As it goes on, you'll get better and better at it. Okay. Oops. XOE. Give me lots of likes here. I appreciate that. So there's any questions. I forgot to mute this. Hexa Languages. Could you tell us about long fasting for women with PCOS? I've had success in the past, but I always had a strong external reason. I mean, my opinion on long fasting is that it's a temporary thing, so for most people, so again, everyone's different, but I find for the majority of people that try to do long fasting, it becomes a temporary thing they can do that they can only do when they have a really strong external reason, to your point. And in the real world with real regular motivation, you just can't get yourself to do it. And so I think, again, we have to, and so put the PCOS to the side. You know what I mean? Like it's really not about the PCOS. It's about what behavior can I do consistently? And long fasting is probably not something you can do consistently unless you have this really, really strong motivation. So the way I always look at things is like, a lot of times the way we look at it is like the harder it is, the more difficult it is, the more motivation we're going to need to get ourselves to do it. And that's what most people think about weight loss as, strictly that it's really, really hard, right? Because pretty much every weight loss strategy you guys know, every diet is really difficult. And along that spectrum of how difficult it is to lose weight and difficult diets are, long fasting's right at the extreme level of it's really hard. And so the harder it is, the more motivation it's going to take. And the truth is that most people do not have that level of motivation consistently. So what do? You don't just give up. What happens is we look at the strategy we're using and we start to optimize around a strategy that's not so extreme, that doesn't take so much motivation. And that's why with Program Yourself Thin, the goal is not to lose weight. It's to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life on near autopilot. In order to do that, you've got to use a strategy that is relatively comfortable for you, that you can sustain long-term. Long fasting is probably not that. As you said, you really need a really, really strong external reason to do it. And so it's not a very sustainable strategy because it's so hard to do, right? And so what I want to do is I want to optimize on the strategy and make it easier for me. And I want to approach it, again, with Program Yourself Thin, we're not looking to change everything in one day. Think about diets, pretty much every single diet. It doesn't matter what your strategy is, but whether it's keto, Weight Watchers, any diet you pick, long fasting, you're jumping right into it 100%. You know what I mean? You start right into it. It's like, okay, I'm 100% 100% into the system. And it's overwhelming. And so Program Yourself Thin, we systematically and strategically start shifting and changing your mindset, lifestyle, and eating. You're not going to change all your eating all at once and Program Yourself Thin because that's not a strategy that's built for long-term success. You can't just change everything all at once. You'd like to, I get it, But in the reality of things, it's like you just can't. It's too overwhelming to you. And that's what happens. You're able to long fast for a while and then you stop. And that's what's going to continue to happen because that strategy is so hard to do. And so that's why you can only do it when you have a really strong external motivator. And you're not going to have a life of constant, strong external motivation to that level. So to me, the only real solution is to build a strategy that we don't need that level of motivation for. Now that being said, I also think building up motivation is really important too. But that level of motivation is almost impossible. I couldn't keep that up. I'm really consistent. I'm really motivated, but I'm very strategic with my strategy. So I don't need to be 100% focused. I don't need to be 100% on track in order to get results. I need to be mostly on track. So again, huge difference there. Oh, what's up, Jen? Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're over on Instagram today. When you launch the new programs, will you still be doing these lives, and will the program still include the Tuesday classes? Yeah, I'll still do these lives. I'll do these lives for the foreseeable future. I love doing these lives are really kind of my mission. I was thinking about that last week and I took a week off and I realized, these lives are kind of a big commitment. It's like, I've been doing these lives for almost 2 years now. And, it is a big commitment. Every Monday through Friday, I'm here, at least for an hour, usually, sometimes 2 hours every day, every week, And so I took last week, I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of energy and time doing. But, this is a decision I made 2 years ago, because what I was doing for years is I was doing a lot of private coaching, and I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? And it's a great business model and all, but it didn't help me achieve my big goal, my mission, which is to help as many people as possible live at their goal weight. That's my mission. And so 2 years ago, I decided I was going to shift things up in my business so that I could help more people. And so part of that decision was to just do this live podcast, to do more social media stuff, just put content out to help people. And so I kind of switched things up. So I will continue to do these lives. The new programs, nothing's really changing on your side, Jen. I mean, because again, the program itself, and I'm just going to take a quick second here because I make it very clear. This isn't an infomercial. I'm not here to sell stuff. But I just want to talk about this real quick because this is really happening, is that I'm changing the structure of my programs. And after this weekend, the Program Yourself Thin system, which includes the hypnosis, Program Yourself Thin, which is a hypnosis, 8-week hypnosis system, the Program Yourself Thin Mastery program, which is the Program Yourself Thin technique and the Weight Mastery blueprints. And there's a bunch of bonuses with that. That program is going up in price. So on Monday, that program will be $500, the home study version, and it'll be $2,000 for the coaching version, where you get to work with me directly. And right now, that program is $300. And if you want to do coaching directly with me for 8 weeks, that's $1,000. Okay. And that's going away on Monday. That will go away. And those prices will go up. But I will also be adding the hypnosis program. I will start to be that'll be offered as an option as well. And that'll be a less expensive version. So that's kind of how it's going to be laid out. And then Jen, for you, what you may be interested in, I think I'm going to knock your socks out. I'm working on something that's so big. It's kind of mind blowing. I don't want to ruin the surprise yet, but what I will say for you, Jen, potentially is you may want to continue with the Thrive program. And that's a program that is only available to customers in the Mastery program that want to continue. And what will happen in that program is again, it's a year-long program. There's a lot of content in it. There is daily, the hypnosis sessions you're getting that just continues. You know what I mean? You get a weekly focus each week. There's a monthly challenge. There's a lot of stuff with it. And that includes the classes as well. There's classes with it that are live, and there's a coaching option. So anyways, I don't want to get distracted on that, but that's something you may be interested in, Jen. And I will let you know about that. That'll be available probably next week as well. Okay. But anyways, yeah, the lives will still be here, and I will still be here for you all until you don't want me anymore. Until no one listens. So Sophia, yeah, Sue. Yeah, says, do you have any tips for us who work in fast food? I'm so tempted even if I eat before. So I wanted to ask you if any mindset tips. That's a great question, Anna, and that's a unique challenge. And I get it because I used to work in restaurants. So I totally get that. And I think my suggestion to you would be that you want to have multiple strategies. I mean, this is a suggestion to all of you, is to have multiple strategies, not just one. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes dieters make. Dieters really just rely on their willpower. You know what I mean? As if their willpower is always going to be the answer to everything, that I'm always just going to make the right decision. And I don't think that's a very realistic strategy in the real world. And so what I like to do is I like to have stacked strategies. I kind of have my plan A. Plan A is I eat before I go into work and I drink my water during work and I don't eat anything. Plan A. Great. Okay. But then I want to have a plan B, right? So it's like I start eating. And so now what I'm looking to do is what do I typically eat when I'm at work? Okay. So we kind of start with what you typically do. And we start optimizing that. So let's just say I usually go in there and I go get myself a value meal and I eat that every day. Okay. So the first goal might be, okay, I'll get that, but then I'll get a small fry, instead of the whole thing. And so I'm looking to, again, with the 3 R's of weight loss: reduce, replace, remove. And so I would, again, which one works best? Do I want to cut the fries out completely? I'll just eat a sandwich. If I get a sandwich, I'll eat 2/3 of the sandwich, so again, I'm looking for gradient solutions, plan B, C, and D's, as well as just having, of course, you want to go in there and not eat anything. I get it, but that's not always going to happen. You know what I mean? This is what I'm trying to say. And it doesn't have to, folks. Again, the diet industry has conditioned you to think in this all or nothing way, but it's bullshit. I mean, you don't have to just think in all or nothing. You can think all or something. And again, when you're not eating anything there, great. Okay. God bless you. Super. But there are going to be times when you do eat, and then you want to have a backup plan, because for most dieters, it's either I don't eat anything or I eat everything, and that's the problem. So we want to get it to I don't eat anything or I eat less than I used to. That's how you lose weight for good. I hope that makes sense. So start to give yourself more granular and backup strategies. Have some contingency plans in place, beyond just not eating when you go in there, and see if that helps you out. Excellent. This is incredibly new to your page. Could you please let me know how I can start? I've been doing very little dancing for about 20 minutes for almost 15 days now. My eating is still the same. Yeah, well, I think that's great. The big difference here, what I'm talking about, programming yourself thin is about, programming yourself thin is about weight mastery. And the difference is that weight loss is about getting to your goal weight. Weight mastery is about living at your goal weight. And so when we think about weight mastery, we're thinking about living at our goal weight for the rest of our lives on your autopilot, ideally. And so we extend the time frame. Most dieters are thinking in terms of days, weeks, and maybe months. Weight mastery is all about thinking in time frames of months, years, decades, and forever. And so we make the time frame longer. And what that does is it allows us to start breaking things up into phases, into smaller bite-sized pieces. And so, for example, starting to dance for 20 minutes is wonderful. That's a great first step. You're doing something different and it's manageable. You probably get some other benefits. You're probably feeling better. Now, again, you may not be losing weight from it. Okay. But it's something that is better than what you were doing. And it's relatively comfortable. That's the key thing. That's what I'm always trying to remind you of. Dieters are always just basing everything on how fast will I lose weight. I'm always looking at how long will I be able to sustain this? And if I start slow doing small things that are relatively comfortable to me, so I want to lose weight. So what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to start dancing for 20 minutes a day. Now I know dieters say, well, you're not going to lose weight that way. You're not going to lose weight. Yeah, but it sets me up, because when I start dancing every day, I get this little bolt of energy every day. I start moving my body. I get more connected to my body. I start to feel a bit more alive. I start to feel proud of myself that I'm doing something good. And so I do that knowing that I'm going to build on top of that. You see? And so with Program Yourself Thin, we think very strategically, and dieters don't do this. Dieters, I'm just going to change everything, and I don't think that's a good strategy. So I think what you've done is great, and you appreciate it for what it is. And now you start, focusing on the eating. My eating's been the same. Okay. Look at your eating typically, look at your typical eating patterns, and start to find where is the worst eating patterns I have. What's the most egregious eating pattern? It might be snacking at night, overeating, grazing, whatever. But pick kind of like the worst eating habit you have and start to work on that. Okay. Not like I'm going to completely change it tomorrow, but start thinking like, how can I improve this? And again, reduce, replace, remove. What can I do with this worst eating habit to start to improve it a little bit at a time? Again, Program Yourself Thin is built around the 1% better a day philosophy. We're not looking to get 100% better in one day. I know we all want to, but that's not a good strategy for long-term success. 1% better a day is, because it's easy to stick with it. You start building on top of your previous successes. And that's how you really start to weave a strong kind of cable of new behaviors and thought patterns and lifestyle. That's how you master your weight. So I think what you did is great, in terms of the dancing, but appreciate it as such. And again, start to think in phases. The initial dance phase is not about losing weight directly. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's kind of like, it's like if you you want to start running marathons. Well, I would suggest before you start doing that, maybe you might want to stretch a little bit. You might want to do a little, kind of muscle building exercise, maybe a little bit of resistance training, and then start doing it, So a lot of times we want to think about things that kind of prepare us for success. And so Hexa says, I struggle with binging so much. Yeah, I get that. But again, a lot of your binging, I guarantee you, if you reflect on why you binge, it's one of three reasons or all three of them, but it's you're over restricting. And so you're getting too hungry and then you're overeating. You're really emotional and you're using the food as a way to deal with the emotions, and or it's just a habit. And again, it could be all three of these, could be one big one. But by dancing, for example, for 20 minutes a day, what's happening is you've now introduced into your daily routine 20 minutes of emotional boost that has no negative consequences at all. And I don't even know you, but I bet that dancing for 20 minutes is probably the most positive thing you do all day. I bet. Like genuinely positive. Like it's just good. Like the food may make us feel better for a moment, but the second we finish eating it, then we get all the guilt and the shame and the frustration. So if we zoom out and look at the total cost of eating, shit food and binging, it's usually a huge negative. Okay. In the moment, it feels good because in the moment, it's kind of like we're not thinking about our bullshit problems. We're not feeling bad. We're not focused on the things that stress us out. We're just focusing on the food. And so that feels good in the moment. But the second we finish eating, all of a sudden, all this negativity kind of, overwhelms us. So for you, Hexa, I think it's really good that you started with the dancing because you've introduced into your day, again, probably the healthiest thing you do all day long, literally. So if you look at it that way, it's not about that making you lose weight, that completely changing all your eating. It's a building block, you know what I mean? But it's a solid one to build around, Yeah, Hexa said, yes, absolutely right. Yeah. So if you start doing that, you know what I mean? If you start thinking that way too, so you can use this as a real good example of how to proceed, that we take little bite-sized things at a time. I'd spend a month, right? You've been doing it for 15 days, but I'd spend at least a month really focusing on the 20 minutes of dancing and really enjoying it, working it into my day, making it part of my routine, something I just normally do. And then once that's kind of solidified, I kind of recognize how I feel, and then I'd work on something else. It might be adding another habit like that in, or it might be starting to work on the eating, but it's kind of up to you. Yeah, Hexa says, I feel much more agile and healthier just from this. I feel more feminine. I feel my hormones balanced. See what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. If you dieters could cut this shit with trying to change everything all at once, you could calm down and you could start to be strategic. You see? So what if Hexa, she's feeling not agile, not healthy. She's feeling not feminine. She's feeling her hormones are completely unbalanced and off, right? So say that's what she's feeling originally. And now she's going to try and eat different. How? And so that's why I say, I think it's brilliant that you focused on dancing because you get all these other benefits, and those benefits of feeling more agile, more healthy, more feminine, more balanced hormonally, all of those things, it's a much stronger foundation to build your weight mastery on top of. Does that make sense? I don't know. To me, it makes complete sense that this is a way better strategy than feeling like a broken person and just trying to completely change everything you eat. And that's how you feel with the dieting thing. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's how you feel. It's like you feel broken, you feel tired, you feel exhausted, you feel overwhelmed, you feel like shit. And now you're going to completely try and change everything. And it's overwhelming to you, and that's why you can't keep it up. It's not because you're a bad person. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you have no willpower. It's because you're following a shit ass strategy of dieting, of trying to change everything all at once. And it just doesn't work that way. I wish it did. I wish people could just change everything all at once, but I don't think so. Sophia says, what programs do you have? I got Program Yourself Thin is my program. And right now it's the Program Yourself Thin system. So it's everything. It's the mastery program. It comes with the hypnosis and the mastery program, which is the Program Yourself Thin technique and the weight mastery blueprints. And there's a lot of bonuses. Again, it is a complete and total package. It is everything you need to get to and live at your goal weight for the rest of your life on your autopilot. And this is the best price you'll ever get it with. So if you're new to my world, what I would suggest is go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session I give you for free, watch the video I made you for free, and read the emails I send you for free. All right. And if you want to check the programs out, you can go to programyourselfthin.com. And again, those programs are going up in price on Monday. So I'm just letting you know, again, get them or don't get them. I don't give a shit, but I just want you to know that. Ken says, hey, Jim, new to PYT program, 3 days in. Many links from your email aren't working. Kartra error. Thank you for letting me know that, Ken. I apologize for that so much. I'm going to fix that today. Oops, shit. Can you guys still hear me? I'm going to fix that today. So I apologize, but welcome to the program, Kent. Let's write myself this note because I know I've been getting some of those errors, and I know what those are. Actually, I know exactly what those are. So those will be fixed today. But remember this anyways, that even if those links are broken, you can always go in the membership and all that stuff's working fine. But I know some of the email links and some of the app links are a little screwy right now because things are being updated. So I'll be working on that today. All right. Hexa says, I've failed so many times because I tried to water fast for 100 hours or more. I know, I get it. I know. And it doesn't even matter. I mean, water fasting is the most ridiculous out of all of them, but they're all ridiculous. You know, even Weight Watchers, the idea that you just like, oh, today I don't give a shit about my eating and tomorrow I'm going to completely track every single thing I put in my mouth and focus on everything. It's just, you're not built for that. You're not meant to micromanage all your eating. Your brain's not built for that. And so that's why it's hard for you to do, you know? And so, yeah, I get it. And then the failing so many times, you start to build this belief that you can't lose weight. But again, it's not that you can't lose weight. It's that you keep using the same shit ass strategy that doesn't work, you know? And I think once you realize that, it's very freeing. You know, I want you guys to embrace the idea that diets suck. There's a little bit of you know, kind of sunk cost idea. You know what I mean? Like it hurts to feel like you spend so much time doing things that don't really work well. But you're better off recognizing that moving forward than staying stuck in some shit that doesn't work well. Spencer says, are you Greek? I am Greek. Yes. He says the weight might come off slower, but it's going to be sustainable. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Again, that's the difference though. You know, that's why I keep saying about the difference between weight loss and weight mastery is really what the goal is. And, you know, you guys, your goal is not to lose weight. It's not. You've lost weight and put it back on. Are you still living in the glory days of when you lost weight? No, you're upset that you put the weight back on. So the goal is not to lose weight. It's to live at your goal weight. They're so different. And so, yeah, because again, if we just take it to the ridiculous, what's the fastest way to lose weight and get to your goal weight? Probably water fasting, dry fasting. Don't put anything in here. And nothing. Right? That's the fastest way to lose weight. But it's also the shortest lasting one. You can't keep that up. So again, the fastest way is the shortest way. It's the least, the least sustainable way. And so if you really are if your goal is really to get to my goal and live the rest of my life there near autopilot, then we need to have different strategies. We can't depend on water fasting, strict ass shit that's so hard and so difficult. We need to make it easier. We need to integrate it. We need to make it automatic, you know, and that's where the subconscious mind comes in. And that's what Program Yourself Then's all built around. Get those links fixed. Okay, it goes crazy when I know the links are wrong. It makes me nuts. Yeah, okay, yeah, Ken said, okay, yeah, the redo rehearsal link specifically. I know that too. I will tell you that link. I've actually been I've been trying to track that link down because I know, like, I've heard a couple people tell me that link, and I've changed in a couple spots. But there's some email that's getting sent out that I'm trying to track down. I'm gonna get it today. But no, Ken, know that you go into the membership area, you go to PYT Mastery, and you go under that, and it's the second lesson. You know, there's a welcome, and then it's right there. Okay. And if for whatever reason you can't find it, shoot me a message and I'll send you the exact link. Ken said, glad to be an ex-dieter. Yeah, me too. I'm glad you're an ex-dieter too. You're going to be a lot happier because dieting sucks, you know, and not only does it suck, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? So it's pretty bad. Hannah says, can you please give us like one strategy to start with? Well, okay, I'll give you two strategies to start with. The first strategy I would suggest is click the link in my bio, go get the free hypnosis session, watch the video and read the emails, because now you're going to have some support. And the video is going to give you kind of a to Z overview of what I'm talking about here. The hypnosis session will let you experience it firsthand, and the emails will kind of support you day in and day out, you know, because all the emails kind of come at this from different angles, you know, and a lot of the emails are, you know, they're kind of based on the time of year, what's going on, but those are going to help you. So that's the first step I would suggest. All that's free. Okay. The second step, what would I do if I wanted to lose weight? All right, I'll give you two more steps. The first thing I would do is I would really have an eye on relaxation, cultivating more relaxation and calm in myself, right? That is the easiest win for you all to tap into, because you know this, right? What drives most of your eating behaviors? And you can know this because you can look at your life and know that there's times when you make good choices, times when you make unhealthy choices. What's the difference? Is it knowledge? No. right? Even when you're making that healthy choice, you know what's good and bad. When you're making a healthy choice, you know what's good and bad. So what's really making the difference in the moment between you making a healthy choice and an unhealthy choice? And I would suggest it's your mood. When you're in a good mood, when you're feeling relaxed, calm, centered, grounded, you tend to make a lot of healthier choices. When you're in a frustrated mood, you're tense, you're exhausted, you're tired, you're depressed, all the rest of it, you tend to make unhealthier choices. So the easiest win you all have without changing anything else, without learning anything else, is to just start to feel more relaxed and calm. And the more relaxed, calm you feel, you already will start to make better food choices. You already know what you should and shouldn't do. The problem is you don't know how to get yourself to do it. And being able to influence how you feel is a huge way, to make that happen. So yeah, get the free stuff I give you, start focusing on relaxation and cultivating more of that in your life. And then the third one is I would probably focus on the worst eating habit you have, whatever you consider that to be. Again, it might be nighttime snacking, might be overeating at dinner, might be grazing, whatever you consider to be kind of your worst habit, the one that shows up every day or multiple times a week that you believe is mostly responsible for the extra weight you're carrying. And then go to work on that. Reduce, replace, remove. But be like a dog with a bone with it. Don't just try one time. Oh, my worst habit's eating at night. I'm going to stop eating at night. That's a dieter thing. Okay. If you can do that, go ahead, do it. But if you find, now I'm eating, okay, don't quit. Okay. Look at it and say, okay, what could I do better next time? And that's really what so much of Programming Yourself is built around, the idea of reflecting on what you tried, strategizing a better solution, testing it out, learning from it, optimizing your strategy. And we just keep doing that until we figure all the stuff out. Next thing you know, you're at your goal weight. So yeah, Hannah says snacking. Okay. So snacking. So start to notice with the snacking, for example, the snacking isn't just happening. It's happening at specific times. You're not snacking all day long, most likely. The worst snacking is probably happening in the afternoon or at night. And it's probably happening extra bad on certain days or in certain situations. And so you want to start to become aware of that. You want to really stalk your snacking, understand it, see it from all different angles as if it were prey that you were hunting, and start to really understand it. What mood am I in? Where's my hunger at? What am I thinking? What are my other options? And start to really go to work on it. Because if you can start thinking, instead of trying to change everything all at once for a little while, what we want to do is we want to work through our challenges. My worst habit when I first started, I was 50 pounds heavier. And I would snack every night. And that was the first habit I really took on. And it took me months, but I figured out how to eliminate it. I came up with better strategies of what I could do at night so that I didn't snack at all and it was comfortable for me. Now, here I am 30 years later, still relying on the same strategies I figured out 30 years ago. I'm trying to think like that. When you start thinking about sustainable strategies, you set yourself up for the long term. And there's a great quote that most people overestimate how much weight they can lose in a month and underestimate how much weight they can lose in a year. And so as a dieter, you're so fixated on how much weight you can lose in the next week or month that you're really losing sight of how easy it can be to make small systematic changes in your lifestyle that will lead to dramatic changes over the next year. And if you can really internalize and get that, it changes everything. All right. So yeah, there's something you can kind of start with. Hexa says water fast. I know from experience. Yep. Sadness and anxiety makes me eat more. When I have hope, I don't feel like eating. Well, there you go, Hexa. So again, just another reason why dancing is so important for you, because again, for most people, the weight is a presenting problem. The weight in of itself isn't the problem. The eating isn't the problem. It's what's going on under the surface that's leading to the overeating. Right. So Hexa says that it's not the eating. The eating is a symptom of a deeper problem. The deeper problem is you feeling sad and anxious. Right. And when you naturally feel more calm and hopeful, you tend to eat better automatically. Same knowledge in your head. That's why the diets don't work for you. It's not a knowledge problem of what to eat. It's a knowledge problem of you don't know how to get yourself to do it consistently. And the biggest reason why is you don't know how to influence your emotions. So that's why I say dancing for 20 minutes is probably one of the best strategies there is. So I'm really, really proud of you for doing that. But again, it's not a direct weight loss strategy, but it's a preliminary weight loss strategy, if that makes sense. It sets you up to be more successful with your weight loss because it's a mood regulator that doesn't involve food. So again, really, really important. But yeah, you're not alone, Hexa. Again, the idea that everyone's dealing with this. I think everyone's weight issue, in my opinion, pretty much boils down to emotional eating. Because if you didn't emotionally eat, you would only eat when you were genuinely hungry and needed nourishment, and then you would stop. and then you'd be at your natural weight if you lived that way. And so again, we live in a culture where, we've been conditioned since birth that our main emotional management strategy is to use food. And so it's, again, it's not unusual. It's just, it's been conditioned into us, but it's up to us to, again, recondition ourselves to realize that we want to deal with our emotions genuinely and not have to rely on food to deal with them, and then that's what changes a lot of stuff. But again, it's not just about weight loss. It's about emotionally feeling a lot better, and losing weight, Lady Luck says, food brings me pleasure. What can I replace it with? That's a great question. And that brings up a good point, because I'm not arguing that food brings you pleasure. Of course it does. The question becomes, what will bring you more pleasure? And to be honest, there may be nothing in your life that brings you more pleasure than food right now. And that's a big problem. So I can't tell you what to replace it with. For me, I can't sit here and tell you, hey, start playing basketball, start reading, start a business, start playing guitar, start learning music, start practicing to draw, spend time with my kids, because that's me. Those are my strategies that bring me pleasure and joy. So I don't know what brings you pleasure, but that's the question you have to ask yourself. And you may find, I don't really have anything that brings me pleasure right now. That's where I was at, 30 years ago. I watched TV, I ate, and I drank. That's what I did. And so I didn't have things that brought me genuine pleasure. 30 years later, I just listed all the things that bring me pleasure. None of them have anything to do with food. So I've learned how to nourish my emotions genuinely with real activities that truly fulfill me and bring me pleasure. But it was a process of figuring out what those were and then implementing them into my life. And now they just run on autopilot. But that's what's doing a lot of the heavy lifting of helping me eat better, is that I've dealt with the emotional piece by focusing on things that truly make me feel good. And again, that's why I say this all the time. You want to take your weight loss and wrap it in personal development. What I'm talking about here really at the end of the day is not just about weight loss. It's about becoming the best version of you possible. That's what I want for you. And in order to become the best version of you possible, you really need to, again, know what things bring me pleasure. And again, I can't answer that for you because you're a unique person, but I bet there's things that do bring you pleasure that you haven't done in a long time. Go do them. That's why when Hex is talking about dancing for 20 minutes, that's a huge deal, because a lot of people start living their lives and it's a 24 hours a day of scrolling, sleeping, and eating. And there's no real genuine, like hobby, interest, things that bring them true, genuine pleasure. A sad state of affairs, but at least recognize and start to correct it, as opposed to just, maintaining it. Elaine says, sometimes I think of eating when I'm feeling bored and idle. Yeah, of course. I do too. Last week, I just got shoulder surgery. And last week I took the week off. And so all of a sudden I'm not working at all. I got a wide open day. And my eating was, I kind of let myself do whatever. But yeah, the eating was not as good because I'm just sitting there all day long. I'm not working. I'm not doing my normal stuff. I can't play guitar. I can't do any of the stuff I normally do. So I'm just sitting there. And so what I start thinking about, food. So yeah, it's completely normal. So it's not about, but here's the difference. Dieters just expect they're going to be bored or I'm bored, I'm angry, I'm upset, I get emotional eater. I got to stop it with my willpower. And what I'm saying is, let's go deeper and resolve the core problem. The problem isn't that you're an emotional eater. The problem is that you're not feeling the emotions you want to feel. So for example, if you're bored, the answer isn't to not eat when you're bored, because now you're just a bored thin person. The solution is to figure out a lifestyle that's way more fulfilling and interesting and exciting for you. So that's the real answer. It's not just to force ourselves not to eat, so now we're bored and thin. We want to be thin and happy. We want to be alive. We want to feel good. We want to look forward to things. Does that make sense? Because I think a lot of times we realize in the dieting world, you're relying on willpower to fix everything. And it can't. Of course it's not. You can't just stop yourself from doing bad things. You got to figure out how to do the things that make you feel better. That's my opinion anyways. So take it or leave it. Sorry, everyone. I got to get out of here. But again, I'll say one last time, and I never hard pitch, but I'm just, because this will be the last time I do this, I promise, is that if you have been considering getting the program, get it now. It's going up in price on Monday. And so I just want you to know that, you heard it here first, and I want you to know that, so that I think that, I just want to be clear with you because again, this will be the best chance you ever get to get this program and get started with it now. Don't worry, it's the holidays. Who gives a shit? It's going to be fine. You don't have to eat perfect during the holidays. You just need to eat better than you did last holiday season. And this program will help you do it. And then you're queued up to really hit it out of the park the next year. Okay. Do things different. I hope you get the program. I know it's going to help you. It's the best chance you got of getting to your goal weight and living there for the rest of your life. All right. I promise you. So again, you can go check that out. If you're on my email list, I'll send you some emails about it this week just to remind you. And if you're not on my email list, get on it. Okay. Because I give you a free hypnosis session, a free training. I send you emails every day that are training emails. They're going to help you think this way. And I think a lot of people find them helpful, and I think you may too. And if you ever want to talk to me, I'm here live every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. If you can't make the lives, it's a podcast. Program yourself then, and you can see it on the podcast platforms. You can re-listen to the replays. And follow me, right? So if you're here watching this and you like it, make sure you follow me. So I always got new videos coming out, always going live, always doing stuff, and it's great. So Fred says, "Thanks. I started your program, loving it. Awesome, great job taking action. I'm proud of you. Yeah, it's a great way to lose weight because again, instead of jumping into some really strict diet, you're jumping into calm relaxation. It's a hypnosis based program. So again, it's not about outputting a lot in for energy. It's about relaxing, calming down, grounding yourself, and operating out of that space. And so it makes it very unique. So again, hope you, if anyone gets in there, I can't wait to see you in the program. And yeah, the rest of you, I wish you the best. Have a super duper weekend, and we will talk soon. Bye, everyone.